Okay, today we're gonna attempt to build the shelves over the starboard wheel well on the van. So I went out and took measurements. I don't know if you can see that. I can see it fine, but anyways, from the floor up to where I want the top of the shelf to go is 46 inches. So I took two 48-inch boards and I marked 2 inches off the end. I'll cut those off and that'll be the side. And I got two more boards that I can use for shelves. And then I got more boards over there that I had in the garage from wherever they came from that I can use to separate out the shelves. So I took my tape measure and my little square and I scribed a line 2 inches from the end on those, and now I'm going to go out and cut them, and I ain't going to videotape cutting boards because there's nothing to it except lay it down, make sure you're on the line, protect your eyes, and let her rip. Okay, let me cut these boards. Okay, two boards for the size, cut to 46 inches. And then this is the K4 KREG jig thing. And it's got everything you need to make pocket holes, or pocket screws. Comes with a DVD, shows you, got an owner's manual in multiple languages. That's the actual jig itself. And then in this box they give you some things to fill up the wood holes. Here's the thing so you can make this level if you build a platform for it, which a lot of people do. There's an Allen wrench to tighten up the collar on this thing. Now I got confused because I thought all these graduated markings on here were for various size things. You adjust it down, but after watching multiple videos on YouTube, they said put the thing in here and measure it down so that it's about a nickel's edge away from that. So I'm not sure which is the correct way, but I'm going to try it with the nickel way. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube about how to use this thing. If it actually works for me, it'll be pretty slick. And it seems to work for all the professional people. So you stick your board in here, clamp it in place, and then use these guides to drill your holes through there. And then the pocket screws in the box, they send you a variety of lengths. I'm just going to leave those in the bag. I bought a huge box of the 1 1/4 inch, which seems to be the most common size for a 3/4 inch material, which is about all I'll use in the van. But the thing with these is they got like a washer built in on the end of them, and it's a square head drive, so you have to use this little doohickey here in your drill to drive them in. Okay, so that's all I know about the KREG jig. That's supposed to be the cat's meow as far as making furniture and shelving and decorative work and stuff like that. And they say you don't have to glue it, but just in case, I bought a bottle of Titebond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. I like Titebond. When I was building the boat, I found out there was so much more about glue than I ever thought I knew, that I just went with one that seemed to meet the standards that I needed, and the Titebond 3 seems to fit that bill. So for any woodworking projects around the house, I'll use the Titebond 3. Okay, let me see, can I build this set of shelves without screwing too much up. Okay, if you do this in your living room, you're gonna have to get the vacuum cleaner out. It makes a big mess. But what I end up with is 6 holes, what they call pocket screw holes, and then those screws go into the other boards. And I also bought the KREG clamps because they recommend clamping it so that it doesn't move when you start the screws. So these things are expensive, but the one thing I like about them is they're not like regular vice grips. They adjust to the thickness of the material, so you don't have to keep adjusting them if you're using different size material. So I guess quality tools cost money. Anyways, if this thing actually works out, I intend to build more projects for the house, like bookcases and stuff. Alright, I'm gonna glue the end of this and measure up on that one board over there, and see about making me some shelves for Trevor. Okay, let's see how it works. You can see in very short order I drilled all the holes in the 2 boards that are going to be the length of the shelves. There's my 2 sides. I'm actually going to need to cut one more board and put it in the middle because the length of the wheel well from here is 38 inches, so somewhere around in here I'll have to cut one of those other boards, and I'll have a shelf about every 12 inches, so there'll be 3 shelves of 12-inch spacing in them. I don't know if that'll work or not, but that's what we're going to start out with. None of this is based on a design. It's just, I kind of looked at it and said, well, this crap will fit in there and this crap will fit in there, so we'll see what happens. I got my little totable vacuum cleaner around and cleaned up the majority of the sawdust. This little jig here makes a tremendous amount of sawdust drilling these holes. I put 6 holes in each end. That's maybe overkill. I don't know. They said 1 to 2 inches apart or something like that on YouTube. We'll find out. If nothing else, all I've done is screw up $80 worth of lumber. So that's a 3/8 inch drill. Here's the bit, the square head bit that goes in it. It'll fit in a 3/8. The drill bit itself fits in 3/8, which is fine. That's about the most common around household. And what I should do is get rid of all this furniture and just turn this living room into a workshop. Well, I only need 1 chair to sit on. Ruby has her bed. Okay, let me see if I can't glue and screw these things together and see how it works. Well, that's the clamp that holds stuff at right angles. And I will say, this non-adjustable stuff, it's a little on the loose side, so I don't know how it's going to work. Well, there it is. That was actually surprisingly easier than I thought. Couple of things. You got to make sure you got enough room to get your drill in there with those holes. Now, on that shelf I could have done it from either side, but since this is not finished carpentry, it's just shelves for Trevor, I didn't pay much attention to it, and I'm not going to bother filling those holes in. If I wanted to fill them in, I'd go get me some epoxy and some filler material, make my own fillets and fill them in that way. You can buy the plugs from KREG already in, but I can make a whole bunch of fillet material for just, I bought pre-made epoxy filler when I built the boat, and it was very expensive. I can buy the raw materials from West Marine, whose prices are probably from Jamestown distributors. Get a quart of epoxy and a bag of filler and make my own fillets and fill those things in if I want. And I may eventually run a router over the edges and stuff and round them off and all that kind of stuff. But the wheel well itself is gonna fit up against that thing and come out 30 inches this way. so I'm going to put another board right there. And that's because the wheel well is enclosed in with a 2x4 frame, so I can screw that end and this end into the frame, and that'll secure it to the van. And I'll probably put a couple little angle brackets up on the top to hold it in there. And as far as keeping stuff in the shelves, I'm going to try and put one of these things on the edge there with a lid that goes up, and then when it plops down, it also got the brackets to hold it in place. When it plops down, I'll have a little desk or something that when it folds up out of the way keeps stuff in the shelves, and when it's folded down I'll be able to use it, put the computer on or set stuff on like a nightstand or whatever. So anyways, one final note about that clamp on 3/4 inch stock. It does not hold it tight, and you can't adjust it any tighter. So I ended up using it to hold it in place, but you got to watch it because it'll slip out of there without any problem. And that's only when you're doing stuff perpendicular like this. When you've got flat stock, you can use these, and I can already tell these are, but there's no way to use these on that because there's not two flat surfaces. But it did work, and it went together surprisingly well. And the boards will have to tear themselves apart. I mean, I could put it in just like it is, and it would hold. It feels pretty sturdy. Okay, I'm not going to film any more on this. I'm going to cut that other board to go in there and put that in place. Then I'll take it out and screw it into Trevor, so I'll have shelves out there on the starboard side wheel well. 12 inches wide, 46 inches tall. That'd be 13 inches from the wheel well up to that one, 12 inches, and then there's a couple more that stops short of the roof by several inches. So I could fold up all kinds of stuff and cram it in there. All right, so much for shelves for Trevor. And there you have it, ladies and germs. A set of shelves for Trevor. All I have to do is take it outside and screw it in place. That KREG jig actually does make things work better. Just a teeny little bead of glue on the ends squeezes it out when you pull the boards together. And I end up using scrap lumber there for the front, but it's 38 inches from that board over to there. That's the width of the length of the wheel well, so that'll fit in, and then I can screw those things directly into the 2x4 framing that I put on the wheel well, and them shelves ain't gonna go nowhere. Okay, I'm gonna call this part of the inside project done. I even got most of the sawdust cleaned up out of the living room. Okay. Final product. Got shelves in there. I had to trim up that one board because the wall's curved, but it got it up close enough where I'm happy with it. It's got 3 screws on each end that's screwed into the 2x4 frame I built around the wheel well. The wheel well's got a lot of insulation in it, so there's the shelves. And if I make my little shelf come out here, that'll be just about right for, I didn't even have to use those hinges things that I got. That'll give you a real close-up view of how this works. And I put these on top because I figure the weight's going to go that way and the screws are at an angle like that. So all of them are that way, and I don't care if the screw heads show. If this was going to be furniture, I'd put those on the bottom and use some fiberglass fillet to fill in the holes. If you use the wooden plugs, you can take it out and take the stuff apart, but once I put something together, I'm not going to take it apart. So rough thing, I didn't have to cut these boards. I just left them at 48 inches. That's why it sticks out a little bit past the window, but that's fine, because up in front of this door never gets opened anyways. I'll put my water jug in there. Porta potty goes back here. I put another tie down there so that I can tie it down and that 5 gallons of water doesn't come flying forward. Although now it would have to come out past this and down the aisle, but the bed is so I can put stuff on top of that. Shelves here, and the fact that there's a little space behind them just means that they're a little bit deeper. So really what I need is something across here to keep stuff from flying out. And I've got some well, it's supposed to be 1x3, but it's actually like 1/2 inch by 2.5 that I can just screw onto this and make little rails that hold stuff in. But I'll do that later. Okay, that's all the furniture building I'm going to do for Trevor. I'll come out some other day and do a complete video on everything I've done to it. But I'm pleased with that little pocket jig. I have plans for pocket screw jig. Okay, the KREG one, they make other brands, but the KREG one gets all the press. And I'm pleased with it. Somebody with my lack of talent can build something like this and actually have it come out looking halfway decent for a camper van. And all I had to do was router the edges, round them over, and a little stain and stuff like that, and that actually made a nice looking bookshelf. And that's my next project with that KREG jig, is a big bookshelf. Only it's not going to be 12 inches deep. It's only going to be about 8 inches deep. It's really milled 1x12s where all the edges are already straight and all the surfaces are already sanded and planed and stuff. It's expensive, but I don't have all the shop equipment and I'm not going to buy it. I'll use that KREG jig when I come in here to redo all this, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave the batteries there, but I got more plans for that battery. Instead of using my boat battery box and all that, I got some other ideas for that. My coat racks are going to have to go somewhere else. Those worked great when we were camping, but I'll have to, I guess those will just throw them away, because once you pull down on the things, it doesn't stick anymore. And I got those over there. Okay, I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go